Okay, it's a pleasure to share some words of Torah with you in anticipation of this Shabbos Nachamu Parshas Vayaschanan. I don't know about all of you, but I always feel a tremendous sense of relief when it comes to Shabbos Nachamu. Once the 3 weeks are over, the 9 days are over, Tisha B'Av has passed, even though the realities of the Khurban, of destruction around us have not changed one iota, I still generally feel a sense of hopefulness and optimism in the air. Maybe it's the catharsis of all the morning rituals that we go through on Tisha B'Av. Maybe it's the lifting of the intensity and restrictions of the time. And maybe it's comforting and spirited words of the Haftorah of Yeshayahu. Maybe it's anticipation of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, which I know is now just around the corner. Maybe it's the feeling of being connected in a deeper way to Hashem. Yes, Tisha B'Av is a day of Hester Panim, of Hashem's hiddenness. But as the Rav points out in many places, a person can feel close to Hashem even in moments of crisis and hiddenness. In fact, sometimes because of those moments, the yearning for a relationship to Hashem can actually increase. So maybe it's that, maybe it's all of these things and more. I don't know. However, this year, I don't know about you, but I find it challenging to feel that same sense of relief and consolation that usually comes as we emerge from Tisha B'Av, since we're emerging into a world that's still very much plagued by the pandemic and by political unrest here and in Israel and so much turmoil. All of it is quite unsettling, and the questions still abound. I want to offer one thought, not an answer, but perhaps a thought about that challenge of feeling consoled this year on Shabbos Nachamu. One of the questions about this week's Haftorah of Shabbos Nachamu is about the double language of consolation that's offered by the Navi. The Navi Yeshayahu tells us, Nachamu, Nachamu Ami. Be comforted, my people, Yomar Elokechem. So says your God. The Medrash notices the twofold repetition of Nachamu in this pasuk and offers an explanation. Medrash in Eicha Rabbah says, Chatu b'kiflayim, dichsiv chet chata Yerushalayim. V'laku b'kiflayim, dichsiv ki lakcha miyad Hashem kiflayim b'chol chatoseha. U'misnachamim b'kiflayim, dichsiv nachamu nachami Yomar Elokechem. The Medrash is suggesting that Nachamu is Midah Keneged Midah, so to speak. The Jewish people sinned twice, or sinned with double intensity, as reflected in the pasuk in Eicha, Chet Chata Yerushalayim. A sin, Yerushalayim sinned. And the Jewish people were punished twice, as reflected in the pasuk in our Haftorah. Ki lakcha miyad Hashem kiflayim b'chol chatoseh. We were afflicted twice because of our sins, kiflayim, double. And therefore, if we sinned with double intensity and we're punished with double intensity, we're in need of double comfort or consolation as well. While the Midrashic answer, I think, is logical and textually sound based on the construction of all these psukim, it leaves us, or I should say it leaves me, wanting for a little bit more. In addition, it doesn't quite explain some of the other double expressions of Nechama that we find in our tradition that are not sparked by the impetus of double sin or double punishment, such as in the famous Gemara at the end of Makos. The ever hopeful and optimistic Rabbi Akiva, as we know, looks at the destroyed ruins of the Harabayas and sees not destruction, but the seeds of the future redemption, to which his friends reply to him by using, again, a double expression of Nechama. They say to him, Akiva nichamtanu, Akiva nichamtanu. Akiva, you've consoled us. Akiva, you've consoled us. That double language. And over there, it's not sparked by any double sin. It's just by the appearance of the Beis HaMikdash and the thoughts about redemption. So the answer of the Medrash doesn't quite answer all of these questions for us. I would like to share with you another perspective, and that is the perspective of Rav Shmuel Borenstein, the second Sukkot Rebbe of the late 19th century. He was the son of Rav Avram Borenstein, who was the author of the very important works, Eglei Tal, Avnei Nezer, and he offers an answer to this expression of Nechama, the double expression of Nechama, in his Sefer, the Shem Mishmor. I'll skip the reading of the Hebrew text, and I'll just tell you what he says outside. He explains that the words in general, have the power to affect us, but only if we allow them to. The example he gives is when it comes to the different ways the Torah describes Hashem calling to Moshe and to Bilam, Vayikra versus Vayikar. Hashem called to both of them, and yet Moshe was deeply affected by his words and was changed by them, whereas Bilam was not. Hashem's words caused Moshe to long for Hashem and to raise himself up, metaphysically speaking, to meet Hashem and continue the conversation with Hashem. Whereas Bilam heard the words, but the words really fell flat. They didn't change him. They didn't affect him in that way. The Rebbe says that when the Jewish people are in Galus, we are atume leiv. We have a closed heart. Our hearts are somewhat opaque. They're closed because of the travails of exilic life. It's just too difficult to bear. We're overloaded with burden. We're distracted by the many dangers that we face and the uncertainties that abound. And therefore, it's sometimes hard for us to open up ourselves to real change. It's sometimes hard for us to hear the words of positivity and comfort that others, including Hashem, offer us. It's tricky for us to allow such words to penetrate to the depths of our souls and really change us. It's for this reason that the Navi doubles the words of Nachamu. Yeshayahu is trying to tell us, trying to tell all other Nevi'im that would come after him, that when you console the people, you need to do so over and over again. You need to do so strongly and emphatically. You need to give them comfort in such a way that it not only tells them intellectually that Hashem is offering them support and comfort, but to do so in a way that they will be able to feel it and accept it and absorb it into their beings. As the Rebbe says, the first Nachamu, is Guf HaNachamu. The first Nachamu is the actual consolation itself. Hashem is offering us consolation. But the second Nachamu is Hechsher Lekabel HaNachamu. It's the permission to receive the Nachamu, the permission that we sometimes so desperately need. What I learned from the words of the Shem Yishmuel is that it's okay to find it hard to feel consoled after Tisha B'Av when we find ourselves in troubled times. In the difficult moments that we face this Shabbos Nachamu, it's extra hard for us to hear the Navi's words of Nechama, just as the Shem Yishmuel predicted, and that's expected and understandable and okay. What I plan on doing this Shabbos is listening hard not just to the overall hope and comfort of the Haftorah, but specifically to the double language of Nechama. What I'll be trying to do as I hear those words is to think about how I am, or we are, not the first to experience the challenge of accepting consolation, accepting Nechama. I'm going to try to listen for the permission that Yeshayahu gives us to retreat just a brief moment from the troubles of our time and open up our hearts to allow ourselves to be changed by Hashem's words. And I hope you'll join me in doing the same. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami. I wish you all a wonderful Shabbos ahead in which we can feel a tiny measure of Nechama in these turbulent times and begin to see very small fragments of light amidst the darkness. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.